Get out of my off of. You're listening to Fix My Carcast, hosted by Bear Claw Billie. No new donors. No new patrons. Shit. Well, if you donate to the GoFundMe link or sign up for my Patreon as a way to help me pay off my car repair debt, you get to pick what I talk about on the show. You may have noticed that I sound a little different today. That's because I have a cold and it's really hard to speak for a long time. So I'm resorting to this text-to-speech generator to make today's episode. But Billie, you may be saying, I and the 3 other regular listeners to this show really enjoy the improvised nature of your show. By typing it out, doesn't that kill the improv a little bit? Well, try this on for size. I am typing as fast as possible and not making any edits. Does that help? Does that make it work? Are you happy? What can I do to please you? Tell me how to lick your ears until satisfaction is achieved. Let me please you. I wrote some of that in all caps and I'm wondering if it sounds any different in audio form. I also don't know if this program has a character limit, so I might have to stop and save soon. I do not know. I also don't know how sustainable this gimmick is. I'd hate to wimp out and resort to dredging up old songs again to fill time, but I'm really not sure how else to go about this. I am Venom. Just kidding, it's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service. Sorry, when the Morbius movie came out, they put ads on Instagram with that voice generated that's in all the TikToks, trying to dredge up some internet youth street cred, and I was just wondering if this voice sounds like that one. Probably not. Tell you what, I'm going to stop here, download the MP3, see how it came out, and if this seems viable, I'll keep this shit up. Do you agree to this? I don't know why I'm asking you, there's a very good chance you're not paying for this in any way. You know, the show that exists to raise money but has not done its intended goal for almost 2 weeks now. Fun. Fun fun. We'll have fun till our daddy takes the T-bird away. Okay. For real. I am downloading now. Here is some intermission music that I created right after hitting download.
So I'm learning that these text-to-speech programs often have daily character limits or only allow 1 free download, so fuck it. I'm going to leap from program to program, hoping that the next leap is the leap home. You kids like Quantum Leap references? Oh boy. So wow, this is a terrible idea, so naturally, I love it. It's a real bummer that my voice sounds like Ensign Sulu after 5 shots of whiskey. Just kidding, that rules actually. I can only do a George Takei impression when I'm sick. But I guess you'll never hear that. You can only imagine what that would sound like. San Francisco. I was born there. Don't call me tiny. Praxis? Are you kidding? Oh my. Eat my entire ass, Shatner. Wow, these bits are even better with weird robot voices. Where do I go now? Where do we go now? Where do we go now? Random fun fact, they are singing Where Do We Go Now? In Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine because they were out of lyrics and Axl was literally asking where do we go now? I just watched a YouTube video about the poignancy of that ending and its relevance in the new Thor movie and I had to laugh because it was literally just a studio oopsie they left in. But you know, life is all about leaving the mistakes. 100% not kidding, I really had a typo during that line. Wow. What a poignant episode of Fix My Carcast hosted by Bear Claw Billie. Coming up after this next download intermission, we'll have comedian and musician Keith Hebert. Stick around.
I'm not sure why, but this one program seems to keep letting me download, so I'm gonna stick with this until it kicks me out. Okay, well, that was some of my incredible piano playing. Did you like it? For all the music I make, I can't play live. You know who can? Comedian and musician Hebert, aka the Big Shred. I have seen pictures of him on a stage with a guitar, so he must know to use that thing, unless it's all some elaborate piece of performance art. Technically, it's not live music performance art. Anyway, I'm curious if comedian and musician Hebert knows he is a running gag on this show. Please go tell him if that would be fun for you. Or maybe it's more fun that he has no idea he is a running gag with rapidly diminishing return on a podcast for basically nobody. Except you, listening right now. You are a cool nobody. That is officially the name for fans of this podcast. The cool nobodies. Have we established enough lore for our little audio cult? We have a fan name, a running gag about a guest that never shows up that we totally didn't steal from Jimmy Kimmel, and a corn-based nightclub. These feel like all the necessary prerequisites for t-shirts with podcast quotes that 99.9% of the population will not recognize. Would you buy a t-shirt that sports the phrase all the necessary prerequisites for t-shirts with podcast quotes that 99.9% of the population will not recognize? Judging from how the donations have dried up, I'm going to guess no. No one has money. Anywhere. We are out of money. We did it. We are free. We have slipped the paper buns of the dollar and have touched the face of comedian and musician Hebert. I have literally not spoken to him since lockdown. If you missed why he's a running gag, he once joked that if I ever had a podcast I would talk so much that we never get to the guest. He probably never thought I would hold that in my sensitive little heart and then bring it back with a vengeance after being left in thousands of dollars of debt by a global pandemic with almost nothing in the way of financial aid. Frankly, I would be upset if he did know about the global pandemic part. Why didn't you warn us, comedian and musician Hebert? Not like it would have helped. Bill Gates warned us and that accomplished fuck all. Look it up. Anyway, you're cool, Keith. You're not cool, Keith, which is the name of a DJ. Shit. I bet this is confusing without inflection. Not that anything on this show makes any sense when it's coming out of my mouth. Shit, it's very hot in here. I would like to be done with this soon. This is a time-consuming way to make a podcast. Here's some more music from me. Sorry that last one was a mess. Hit it, Bear Claw Billie. Fuck. Limit reached. Time to switch programs and copy-paste. This is so stupid. Music time.
Okay, it should not have taken me this long to figure out that I can have my phone read any text back to me and I can record the screen while it does that. I genuinely do not know why someone so technologically inept has a podcast. Yes, I do. Anyone can have a podcast. Thank you, Internet. But for real, computers are magic that they let me have for some reason. I hope you like this voice. The saucy little Aussie gets me out of bed every morning. I don't know why I went with the Australian voice for Siri. I've always been fascinated by Australia ever since I was a little kid. My first instinct is to say that came from the rescuers down under, but the more I think about it, before I saw that I saw some weird cartoon about koalas on Nickelodeon. Every time I think of this damn show, the title escapes me. It was weird. I think it was from Japan, and it was intensely dramatic towards the end. I know this is supposed to be typed improv, but please permit me a Google because this is going to bug me all day. Okay, so apparently there were two koala cartoons when I was a kid. One was called Adventures of the Little Koala. Hard pass. That was nothing. That one sucked shit. The one I watched was called Noozles, and there were two little koalas that transported a girl away to Koala Walla Land. I bet Australian Siri really beefed that pronunciation. Let me spell it a few different ways. Koala Rala Land, Koala Walla Land, Kombucha Luchida Land. Nailed it. Anyway, I swear to God, towards the end the show got really fucking surreal, like there was a nuclear bomb or something and everybody died and it was super intense. Childhood memories are weird. The Wikipedia is full of some truly bizarre stuff. Wise man stones. The high dingy do. Holy crap, the ending is so sad. It's not a nuke but it's devastating. Gosh, I feel like I based a lot of my pretend games on that dramatic sad koala ending. But no time for therapy now, Billie. Gotta hook these listeners. Okay, here we go. You ready? Coming up after the break, not comedian and musician Keith A. Bear, but writer and director Stephen King. And we're back. During the break, I tested positive for COVID-19, so be sure to keep it tuned to Fix My Carcast for our exciting COVID week. That should be a lot of fun and not incredibly stressful for me. Okay, our next guest used to be in a rock band with newspaper humorist Dave Barry. Spooky stuff. He's never been to Maine before, so please give a warm welcome to visionary book person Stephen King.
Thank you, Charlie. It's nice to be here.
It's Billie, actually, but that's great to hear. Before we get going, can I get you anything?
You know, I'd really like to have
What?
a pair of lizard skin boots.
I'm sorry, I don't have any lizard skin boots. All I have is this jar filled with some creamy brown substance.
You've got your peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. That's what it is. I thought it was the other thing. Speaking of jars, do you have any forced quips about jars that you try to cram into every interview?
I have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar. on my desk.
Okay, good for you. I see you've brought a book with you. What is it?
The Bible.
Oh, I thought you might have brought something you wrote.
Look at the Bible.
I am. It looks like a normal Bible.
No, it's bigger.
Fine, it's a larger than average Bible. Ugh, Mr. King, do you smell something stinky?
You caught me. You caught me. I did it.
That is rank. Stephen, couldn't you save that for after the interview?
Sometimes it's just best to rear back and let her rip.
Maybe we should wrap this up.
Wait, I'm not done.
I really hope you're talking about the interview and not the farts. But okay, let's keep this going. Stephen, you write something called horror, which I'm told means that it's scary. What is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you?
Somebody sent me a t-shirt at the end of last year that said, Santa Claus isn't real.
You must have been truly devastated. Now, Stephen, it says here on the card that you're a very political guy. You've been very vocally opposed to former President Trump. Tell us, why are you so mad at Donald Trump?
He will not let me be a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade float.
Well, I don't think Donald is in charge of that. Say, speaking of rich people, and you are very rich, would you mind helping a Maine resident out and throwing some money in my GoFundMe to cover my car repairs? How does $28 sound?
$28 is a lot of money.
How about $69?
Nice.
Stephen, what's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
Pulp Fiction.
And what's your favorite Kate Winslet movie?
A movie that's really funny, that really makes people laugh is The Reader.
What's your favorite Pixar movie?
Cars, Inside Out.
Wait, you changed your answer. Have you seen Cars?
Cars is about a car that drives by itself.
Okay, checks out. Stephen, would you mind if we did the rest of this interview in French? Parlez-vous français?
If you want to use that kind of language, Take it out in the street.
My apologies, Mr. King. Two of my favorite things are sex and John Carpenter's music from the movie Halloween.
I hate Halloween.
Very well, then I'll put on the music from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch while I ask you about your sex life.
If you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
Stephen, that sounds like a ringing endorsement of self-love. What brought about this sexual awakening for you?
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
Are there any positive affirmations you like to say while you explore your body?
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
Wow, intense. Let me turn off the Halloween 3 music.
By the way, what was your childhood like?
Oh, I usually ask the questions, but okay. Well, we grew up poor but we made the best of it. What about you? What was your childhood like?
I grew up on a diet of
Peanut butter.
Oh, that must be why you're such an expert on it. Mr. King, are there any rumors that you'd like to debunk for us?
just in case any of your viewers out there thought that they could dig people up and they start to fart. That can't happen. That is a total make-believe thing.
That's great to hear.
I don't think that there are any giant rats.
No farting corpses and no giant rats. That is so comforting.
Now I can die in peace.
Stephen, who's the best Spider-Man?
Maguire.
What species is Gizmo?
Maguire.
What do you drink cocoa out of? Boy, this is fun. I could do this for hours. I have 100 more questions.
Then I'd like to stop before it turns into a kind of self-parodying exercise.
Excellent observation, Mr. King. Brevity is the soul of wit. Less is more. Make it quick.
Did you feel that way about your first sexual experience?
All right, enough. Thank you for joining us, Stephen King. Will you tell people about this episode?
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
Fair enough. Well, thank you to the listeners for bearing with this weird experimental COVID week edition of Fix My Carcast with Bear Claw Billie. As always,
Milk in the refrigerator takes the flavor of whatever's next to it.